liberty, and also I will not comply. So if you want to throw those out there. We also do have a live feed going. It's taking best advantage of the resources we have. There is a live stream out there for people that want to watch, and they can check that out over on the website, callmegab.com. On the rally page, there's a link to that live stream. So with that, let me see, if we still don't have Graham Hunt, do we have Mike Siegel? All right.
Mike Jones. Don't get a boner.
Okay, we have Representative Hunt going to be here soon. He's a little bit late, but we will get him up. If Jay Devereaux is here, I believe Jay is here, and if he's here, we'll get him up. What, did everybody get cold? That's all right. We got some phenomenal speakers coming in, so I'm going to hold the floor for just a minute until we get this figured out. But, you know, this is a phenomenal stand here, and all of America is watching. We need to remember that. We've had rallies before, and we've stood up and we've said no more. Here's a problem, America. We keep saying no more, and we keep taking more. And we need to stop taking more lawlessness from government. Woo! We need to draw the line. Read my lips. The people should be armed equal to government. Yeah. Because when the people are armed, there is liberty, and when there is liberty, there is safety, and there is security. We must stop trading away our children's birthright for false promises of security and trade for liberty. Because that, my friends, is not liberty, and that's why we stand here today. As we go out from this rally today, and we've got a few hours of phenomenal speakers, but when we go out, we need to remember that we're not just standing here today to defy this legislation. In a little while, we're going to open up signing for the Declaration of Affirmation, and I'm going to read it to you, and those that wish to sign it can step up and put their name and pledge to stand by liberty. Now, no one will hold it against you if you don't. And when we read this, you can decide if you want to put your name by that and if you want to step up and sign that declaration and send the government a firm and resolved message that we will no longer tolerate this tyranny. With that, we're going to have to move forward on our speakers. So let's go ahead. And is Nathan... Nathan, are you ready? Bear with me just a second.
This is embarrassing. This is a little embarrassing. Speakers aren't here.
All right, this is my brother Nathan Syme. We often go out and do things together, taking on activism. He was also there with us at the Bundy Ranch, standing against the bureaucratic terrorists who were assaulting private property and liberty in Nevada. By God's grace, America stood down the bureaucratic terrorists on that Saturday spring, and we will continue to do so. And that was a pivot point in our history. Some people thought it was about cows or grazing rights. Moo. It wasn't about cows, it was about liberty. It was about government entities that have no lawful authority trampling the people and keeping their boot on our neck. And we have to pass the boot off the neck. We respect and we honor officers and public officials that honor their oath. But we must remember that a public official that does not honor their oath is a criminal, and they need to be regarded as such.
Hell yeah.
With that, my brother Nathan Syme. Let's give him a hand.
Woo! My name is Nathan Syme, as Gavin already said. And I want you all to know that I don't want to be here. I'd rather be at home, spending my time on my own pursuits. I would rather be doing my own thing, but this is necessary. We need me here, we need all you people here. But as for me, I'm not here for my personal rights. I'm here for justice. Don't get me wrong, I believe I have a constitutional right to own and to carry this weapon and it cannot be infringed. But I am here because, as a Christian, my God loves justice and judgment. And justice says that what our government is doing is wrong.
Yeah!
And if it is wrong, no matter what rights it may or may not violate, it is your job, your duty, if you are a believer, to stand against it. If you are not a believer, you ought to stand against it anyway, because if you don't, your future generations, your children, will be slaves. That is the truth. However, if you are going to stand for justice, for what is right, you need to make sure that you're not just doing it in public. It needs to be at home as well. If you expect to win a war of justice, you have to act justly in your own private life. You cannot say to the government, I defy your lawlessness, and live lawlessly. You cannot say, I will not let you take what is mine, but say, I want you to take my neighbor's money and send me a check every month. So if we expect the blessing of the God of heaven, of Jesus Christ on our battle, then whether or not we are Christians, we must have with us in our hearts and in our lifestyle a character, a way of being just. We need to be looked at as honorable people, not just here in the crowd, but to our neighbors who live next door, to our children, to our wives. Furthermore, I am thrilled you are all here, and this battle is going very well. This is my third battle. This is a war. We are not going to win it in one battle. There's going to be other events, whatever they may be, you are going to need to support. When I went to Bundy Ranch, thought that I was going to be able to go and take my stand, do my duty, and go home and not worry about it anymore. That was absurd. Exactly. You don't win a war, and I'm not speaking of a violent war, but nevertheless, you don't win a war in one battle. So then, there's going to be another one. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't even know if it's going to be in Washington or who's going to arrange it. But I hope to be there. And I hope to see all of you there. God bless America.
Well said. Thank you, Nathan. I hold my mic closer, I guess. Okay. You know, Nathan's absolutely right, because I get this often. You know, I go out and I do videos or I do these stands, and people think that I do this for fun. And going to government and saying no, and standing up and saying no, and putting ourselves out there is not fun. It makes us proud to stand up for what's right, and it should as Americans. But we have jobs, we have families. I'm a rather unexpected activist. I'm just a small business owning father. I make family portraits and put them on people's walls. I teach photography. So why am I up here standing for guns? I'm not up here standing for guns in particular. I'm standing for liberty and for America. And we need to remember that when the framers stood up, they were everyday men. They were people who said, we cannot tolerate this injustice any longer. And if we don't stand up, make no mistake, if we do not stand up, America, our children and our grandchildren will take back liberty at the price of blood. We have a duty to stand. Now what I'm going to do, our speakers have got a little thrown off in terms of the schedule, but we have more showing up now. It's going to be a good slate. Is this Graham? Excellent. Let's go ahead and put Graham Hunt in, and then we're going to take a little break. We have some great vendors over here. You can get some coffee. You can mingle a little bit.
We kind of have breaks roughly on the hour, and as we go along today, we're going to have some amazing speakers. But with that, let me introduce Representative Graham Hunt here. This is how you represent America.
I'm glad to see some Second Amendment enthusiasts out here. Thank you. You know, on November 4th, we watched one of the battles that our nation is facing that we lost here in Washington State. But a war consists of many more than a single battle. But this is a battleground state. I'm sure that all of you have heard that now, because it passed here, they're going to propose this type of legislation in other places. But I'm here to tell you that you have representatives here in Olympia right now that are here because we believe the same thing that you do, and that's the very simple fact that the Constitution states shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Look, come on, shall not be infringed. It's not complicated. This was an 18-page bill that is more than background checks. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Aside from hurting the individual liberties of an individual, it's also potentially going to cost the Washington State revenue because you've got businesses that are potentially going to close. They have to, if it's enforced. You can't have armed security. You can't have armed transport. You can't have companies that make holsters that are specific for your weapon type, custom holsters. We have manufacturing companies here in Washington State that if you have